This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, good evening. We call to order the Zoning Board of Appeals for the City of Easthampton. Today is Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. We have a hybrid meeting in that we have both members on a Zoom, Google, whatever service we're using these days, as well as in person. The first item of business is the reading of the approval for the minutes from the February 15th, 2023 and the April 26th, 2023 meetings. Do you want to handle those individually or? Sure. Yeah. Okay, so February 15th, can I get a motion to approve the February 15th, 2023 meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the February minutes.
Okay, Tony makes a motion.
I second.
And Steve second. Any discussion? Unfortunately, you were not there, so you don't get to vote. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 to 0. Okay, and then the April 26th meeting. So Tony, you ran that meeting.
So, yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the April 26th.
Okay, Tony makes a motion.
I second.
Steve seconds. Okay, I have to abstain because I was not there. And all in favor?
Aye.
And now you get to vote on that one, so we're still 4 to 0. Okay. All right. So that takes care of our administrative business. Next order of business is we had Jeff Arthur seeking a special permit to change the use of a pre-existing non-conforming non-residential structure in accordance with section 11.13 and section 13.1 of the Easthampton zoning ordinance. The structure is a non-conforming due to insufficient front and rear setbacks. The proposal is to convert a building from mixed retail and residential to an all residential use with 6 units. Subject property is located at 42-43 Pleasant Street and is zoned neighborhood business. I see you're standing, sir, so I'm assuming you are Jeff Arthur.
Hi, I'm Jeff.
Okay.
Jeff, you can hit present your screen. It's that middle. Yep, present now, and then your entire screen. And yeah, hit share.
You got it.
And then pull up your presentation. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
My name is Jeff Arthur. I'm a principal with Meeting House Architecture in Florence. I was hired by the Pont Bryant family. We're working on 42-44 Pleasant Street together. This is a very old structure and it's currently mixed use. And one of the reasons why we're here is because it is undergoing a change of use. The downstairs, which is previously business, is proposed as residential. And because it's an old building with old setbacks, here we are.
Okay.
Just a quick word about myself. Our firm in Florence opened end of 2001. And we specialize in adaptive reuse. We do new construction work as well. We do interior renovations as well, but we believe that existing buildings have a place, and especially in old towns that have a lot of existing building stock, we have to find a proper and good way of reusing them. Existing conditions. It's worth noting that the store has been owned and operated by the family since the 30s. This is a very old ownership. Retirement of second generation led to a lease of the store in the late aughts, early teens. The retail space was closed by the building commissioner. There were some non-permitted alterations by the lessee, then closed down. I think you guys probably have noticed it. We're existing non-conforming. We're currently mixed use. And again, we're going to all residential proposed. This is just a quick overview of sort of the project goals. I do want to point out that, you know, an architect is required for construction control on a project like this, but I do want to note that the family hired me specifically because they believe in more than just getting the project done. They're taking an awful long time, an awful lot of care and input on what these units are supposed to be like. This is not one of those projects where we're just trying to cram as many units as we can into a building. We're taking a very gentle approach. And we're also looking at how the streetscape is being affected, because this is a historic neighborhood and we're trying to do our due diligence there. There are some repairs that are required on the property, but we're also going to be doing new exterior cladding and trim. The roof will be replaced, new higher performance windows, especially those facing Pleasant Street, because there are noise concerns. And this is an example of our previous work here on the project, of how we're proposing one of the ground floor units. As you can see, a lot of care has gone into the design of the interior as well.
How many units will there be total? 6?
There's gonna be 6 units total. There's 2 existing on the upstairs. The property card shows 4 units existing, although the other side of the second floor was never completely built out. The downstairs, which was retail, is going to be 3 units. There's also a small space in the back that the owners are retaining for maintenance and, you know, electric snow blower and things like that. We've worked with the clients to make sure that these are apartments that feel like home. This is important to both us and the clients. These are some examples of what it might look like on the outside. Here's a site plan showing proposed parking. Existing parking requirements included 3 for the retail, which is 1 per 1,000 gross square feet of retail space, 3, and 4 residences on the property card, that's 4, plus whether a visitor space is required or not would make 8 total. There isn't space for 8 parking spots in this parking area. It's been just kind of grandfathered in. Our proposed parking is 6 units, 1 for each bedroom, 6 plus a potential visitor spot. That's how we're seeing the site plan.
Is there any auxiliary parking if needed?
The owners do have good relationships with the neighbors, and this is something we talked to the planning department about as well. If extra parking is needed by residents, that's something that can be negotiated by the owners with nearby neighbor spots and potentially included in leases as well. And that's all I have for a presentation. I also have architectural drawings if you want to look at them.
People do park on the side of the building there too.
Trying to reduce street parking as much as possible.
The point is not to.
Yeah, and unfortunately, yeah, the parking that is on the, let me back up. Okay, so thank you very much. Members of the board, do you have any questions for Jeff considering this?
Not to jump ahead, are there any abutters here tonight that are opposed?
The 3 people here are owners and my clients.
And I'm in a butter too. I got a house on Prospect Street. That's all right.
And you are, sir?
That's how I get my card. I got the butter's card.
Andre Pomeroy.
Thank you. Okay. All right.
Next door neighbors, empty, this, Peter Pan Cafe.
And then the other side is, won't be real, right?
There's a garage in the back and it has parking back there.
Okay. All right.
Gonna be a bathroom in each room, and you guys have figured out the, like, logistics of keeping mold out and rodents out and all that stuff for each unit, and it's probably a little beyond the our scope, but just because that causes subsequent issues.
It's a pretty extensive renovation. We're going through and pulling down almost everything that's on the interior. I was just doing code review. We're looking at the increase in plumbing and stuff like that. On the upside, just as an aside, during the code review, you know, the first floor is no longer a business use. So this building is not really being taxed in the same way, or taxed is the wrong word. It's not being loaded in the same way as it used to be. Less people, less, and it actually has to do with parking too, less trips.
Right.
Right, less people entering and then leaving the parking lot, less people entering and leaving the building. So a more easygoing use for this existing structure, which we like.
So it's a two-story building, correct?
It is.
So the access from the second floor down to the first, is it one stairwell, fire escapes,
There is,
two stairwells?
each existing unit has a private stair. And there's also a common stair in the middle that goes toward the back of the building. It's worth noting this used to be two buildings back in the day. There is a central staircase that serves everybody. The corridor is the proper width. We're going to be adding a sprinkler system, so our fire ratings on that corridor are good. And the stairs, the proper width, and it leads to an emergency exit out the back. So we're actually in very good shape there.
Do any of the exterior exits exit out into a parking area for somebody coming out? Could be exposed to vehicle traffic?
Both of the private stairs exit onto the street. One exits to the right end of the V in Variety. The other one you can see in this rendering off to the left. It's next to the air conditioner. The common access out the back does not go into the parking lot. It goes to the back line of the lot. There's a few feet there, and then it becomes the next property.
Thank you.
And is there a sidewalk on that air conditioner side?
There is. Yep. It's asphalt in this.
Okay, I just want to make sure that there's, we're not putting, egressing people into the street.
That's one of the few things about this building that's not being changed, is that those exits and those units are not being touched.
Okay.
Those are going to exist, and they're currently rented.
Is parking allowed in front of the building, like that car is parked there? Is that allowed?
Is it 15 minutes or is it more than that? 15. I think they're 15-minute spots.
And
So-
then the side.
So if you have a 15-minute visit, are you okay?
You can get your.
Food delivery.
Yeah.
DoorDash.
Reading in your narrative, or what I thought I heard was, is one spot gonna be used for, you said one is gonna be used for snow storage in the winter?
So early on, when we were looking at, thank you for bringing that up. Early on, when we were looking through the visitor spot requirements, depending on how you read it, whether you're optimistic or not, you can see one per every 10 units, thinking that if you don't get to 10 units, you don't need a visitor spot. But I think the way this text is being perceived is that it's one visitor spot up to 10 units. That spot exists. It just needs to be cleared out in the winter. And that's something I spoke to the Pump Rides about. There's going to have to be snow removal to make sure that visitor spot is accessible.
Yep.
You guys understand what he's saying about the, like, one visitor space for 10 units? It can be kind of interpreted two different ways. So it's a weird one. I'm curious, I guess I'm curious how you guys
Well,
interpret that.
I did peek at the video from last meeting, and I think the visitor spot was a point of contention. So I wanted to make sure that I was clear that the spot does exist and it just needs to be cleared out. That's all.
Okay.
You guys have prospective lessees or people that you're like talking to that might be attracted?
Empty for a little while now. I think the owners will agree it's time to get this thing moving, get some people back into it.
Well, there's people in it.
I'm sorry,
There are existing.
the empty space, sorry.
Is there plans for further expansion? Once you're done with this phase, is there plans for further expansion? No.
Nope. No, this is a tight lot and the building
Yeah, I don't
fits.
think there's more place you can go.
Yeah, no rooftop saunas or anything? No. Okay. So,
Okay. All right. Matt, do you have any questions?
No, in fact, I'd like to make a motion to approve this project, 42 to 44 Pleasant Street, as proposed.
Okay, well, we need to do some findings first, but I appreciate your gung ho attitude there.
Yeah, let's make sure everyone's done with questions and.
Yeah, I do too. I asked, yeah,
Get there.
yeah. So, okay, so no questions? Rob?
Parking is gonna be a little bit of an issue. Not that that makes it like seriously detrimental. It seems like there's not a lot of extra available parking spots.
It's a tight lot.
It's a tight lot.
We make the required by the ordinance just barely. And that's it.
Yeah.
By turning it all residential,
Hmm.
you can be more compliant than if you tried to keep it commercial.
It's true.
And mixed use.
If we were keeping it commercial, we wouldn't be here tonight. That's like an allowed by right. We're basically reopening the building,
Correct.
but tonight we're here to talk about changing it over.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna read through, so I have an administrative question for Eli. The original application was section 11.13 and 13.1. This only requires 11.13.
You need 11.13 and 12.7.
Okay, it's on the.
13.1 is the variance.
Right, and you had 13.1 on there, but I don't see any variance information.
I don't think it requires a variance, today.
I just want to make sure we're only requiring a special, it's a pre-existing non-conforming
Yeah, you know,
structure that we're modifying.
yes, that should actually say 12.7, so that's a mistake.
I want to make sure that I see contradictions and I don't like them.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Careful.
So
Word
12.7.
Yeah, so, this only requires, in my opinion, findings under section 11.13 and 12.7. Unless, of course, the PS think it is a partial variance.
I don't see it needing a variance
Yeah.
because it's pre-existing. They're not changing the footprint. So there's no variance in what's already there. You're changing use, which we give the special permit, and then the planning board also gives.
Yeah, that's my interpretation.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Does everybody agree with that little mindset there? Okay, so with that, Eli, you were kind enough to write up some findings here beforehand, which I do appreciate. It says pre-existing non-conforming non-residential structure may not be expanded, altered, or changed except with special permit by the ZBA, which is why you're here. So in order to do that, in regards to special permit and regard criteria, the conformance of the provision of the ordinance of the city of Easthampton, general laws of Massachusetts, and all applicable rules and regulations of state and federal agencies. The board finds that the application is in conformance with the ordinance of the city of Easthampton. I think we agree with. Protection of city amenities and abutting properties through the minimalization of any detrimental or offensive use or destruction of unique or important natural, scenic, or historic features of the site. So that's a good question. Your front elevation, are you going to keep the sign that says Pleasant Valley Variety?
No.
Pleasant, a pleasant variety,
What's that?
a pleasant variety.
A Pleasant Variety.
It's a great name. The A fell off.
No.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that future residents aren't interrupted by people looking for beer, wine, etc. So we're going to lose that, but we are going to do what we think is a tasteful rendition of a New England storefront. And
Okay.
the windows will have glazing, grills.
Why don't you bring it up again?
Yeah.
Before my grandfather bought the building, part of it was a showroom for cars way back when they first started having cars.
If you want to pull up the elevations, if you go to the file on the bottom. No, in the middle.
Yep, I see it.
Yeah, blue folder. Yeah, everything's in there.
Thank you. These are proposed.
Oh, that's the side view.
The front elevation's in the upper left corner.
Can we zoom in a little bit? I mean,
Sure.
it's a layer on the sides. I can't
Yeah, at
really
the
see.
top, there's a, there you go.
There we go.
You gotta scroll over.
Sorry.
Okay. I have to kind of gesture in that direction. There we go.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes, I did bring that.
Okay.
I wish you could keep the sign, but I see you don't want people coming into your place looking for beer.
Yeah.
Um, The, lower cornice is not going away. It's just going to be changed slightly. And it also creates kind of a nice belt line for a change in color between the street level, sort of darker colors are going to wear really well and sort of look good for a long time. And then a color on the second floor to kind of give it some character.
Okay. So, I mean, I think that would be the only historical feature on the building.
Like.
Yeah,
The sign.
the sun.
Yeah.
Someone
Otherwise,
vinyled it at some point. It's lost a bit of its historic character.
I
It's true.
can take it home and hang it up.
It used to have show windows and, and that's gone away.
Minimization of traffic and safety impacts of the proposed development on adjacent highways or roads and maximizes the convenience and safety of vehicular pedestrian movement within the site. Or you're not really changing any site. I guess one question I do have is concerning the parking access. It's all on the
Right side.
right-hand side.
Yeah, let me try to pull that back up. I apologize.
That's okay.
How's the lighting there for the parking too, by the way?
Great,
Great.
the apartment building put in new lights and it lights up our parking lot good.
It's that blue folder on the, oh, maybe it's there, yeah, okay,
There
thanks.
we go.
Gallery. I don't know
Just a
about that
second
one.
here.
So is there going to be, I mean, if we look at that site right there, is on and off or access to the property or parking area, is that going to be all off of Pleasant Street or will there be some off of Hill Avenue?
It is. The curb cut is unchanged.
Okay. All right, but you can't get around the building. Can you get around the building or
Oh,
not?
yeah.
We used to have a right of way, but the people in the back locked it because there was too many people from the bar hitting the building.
Computer can, that was so.
Good reason to block it.
Not a problem anymore. The computer can close.
But you can still walk through the.
You can walk.
You can walk
They do all-
either way.
There was just one point of access, so we're not changing that anymore.
That's right.
Okay. Adequacy and methods of disposal of sewage and refuse and the drainage of surface and subsurface water. So the parking is not going to change. It's the impermeable surface area is not going to change on the property. You've already discussed that you're addressing the plumbing within the building.
Yep.
Refuse removal. Are you going to have a community dumpster? Are you going to have, how is the garbage?
We have a community dumpster.
You have a community dumpster right now?
Yeah, it's right there. It's where under the 95.
Okay, that little square there?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so that will remain, you're gonna take care of that, it's gonna be part of your lease, everything like that. Okay, just wanna make sure you're covering everything. Adequate means of protecting wetlands, watersheds, aquifers, and well areas. I don't feel this is applicable on there. Mitigation of adverse impacts of city resources, including the effects of the city water supply and distribution system, sewage collection and treatment system, fire protection, streets. So you're sprinkler the building, so that's gonna hopefully diminish any demand on the fire sprinkler on that. You will have an increase in sewer discharge, but it's gonna be all new piping, so we should be in good shape there.
That's right.
And you're not making any changes to streets or adding to streets. Any other questions on that topic? Provisions for off-street loading and unloading of vehicles incidental to the normal operation of the establishment, parking, lighting, and internal traffic controls. You brought up that the adjacent property lights your property.
It does. I'm
That,
like so excited.
I understand you're excited about it. There's two things wrong with that statement.
Right now,
We
there
have
are lights on the front of the building.
We have like, yeah, every
And,
entrance will have a light.
We,
and then
we do have a light pole in the parking lot
Right,
that had a light on it. The previous tenant of the store took it out, I guess.
So we can put it back. if you want to
The
know.
lighting of your property is your responsibility.
Even if it's an accident?
It-
Okay. All right.
And technically,
We can
the
put-
lighting on an adjacent piece of property shouldn't be onto your property. I understand it's close property, proximity and everything like that, and that happens. But you can't rely on your neighbor to
Sure.
light your
We
property,
can put the light pole back up.
so.
Well, the light pole's there, we just gotta get lights put up there. again.
That's my concern on that one.
No
So
problem.
we need to have, you provide lighting.
Well, we were putting lights by the doors.
Yep.
And the
General lighting for rental property and the parking area, you need to make sure that you have adequate lighting for that.
absolutely, yeah, so that would put, over by the, two, on the 82.04, that would put a light there too. And that's where the parking lot is. We could add another one on the side of the building.
That is up to your design professional, as they say.
I think we need to, if we're gonna ask for this, we need to come up with a condition, if this is, if we wanna ask for this, it needs to be conditioned, and we need to think of the text for that.
Okay,
It also should be reviewed by the planning board too, any lighting, but, that doesn't mean we can't condition it here as well.
okay. You're still gonna go to the planning board, right?
Yes.
On the sixth.
So as
Yeah.
long as we put a condition in there, they will then see our decision and then make it. provide it.
So for the condition, could we say lighting that illuminates the property but does not, I think usually like a truck handle is the.
Yeah, and
not-
there's,
not leave the
I don't think,
property
do
beyond
we
the
have
truck
a
handle?
lighting ordinance in the city?
We do.
Okay,
Yeah. Per the zoning ordinance.
right.
Um, Um,
Alright.
On adequate lighting.
Yeah.
Adequate
Adequate
illumination
illumination will be provided in the parking area,
per Easthampton.
zoning.
Yeah.
By
That
that
won't
Okay.
interfere with the driving. Drives me nuts when people put up a light and you're driving and it's blinding you
Well,
and it's lighting their property.
the lighting on your property should not extend past your property line.
Right. But not everybody follows that rule.
But we'll make sure
So,
of it.
We will.
here is your chance to do it right.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So applicants' efforts to integrate the development into existing landscape through design features such as vegetational buffers and retention of open spaces and agricultural land.
There is none.
I don't think that's applicable.
You can barely grow a weed.
Minimization of the area over which existing vegetation is to be removed. Where tree removals require special attention to be given to planting of replacement trees. Not applicable. The consistency of the development with respect to setback, area, placement of parking, architectural style, and landscaping of the surrounding buildings and development. You are not changing the footprint, you're not doing anything, your parking is in the only location available to meet the requirements of the code. I think we're all pretty much in, you're doing everything you can.
And we're trying to keep the architectural styles
Yeah.
similar.
It's aesthetically pleasing. Adequacy of the measures to prevent pollution of surface or groundwater to minimize erosion and sedimentation and to minimize changes in groundwater levels, increased runoff and potential for flooding. You're not changing anything by way of the soil contours, impervious product, land space or anything like that. Adequacy of the methods to ensure that the use will not constitute a nuisance by reasons of unacceptable level of air or water pollution, excessive noise, or visual flagrant structures and accessories. So you need to make sure that your neighbors don't play the nature too bad. Your tenants.
Definitely gonna have the tenants on that.
Yep. So, Is there any other conditions or thoughts that the board has concerning this application?
No.
Okay,
Oh, just to say, there are also findings, before the findings you start on for 11.13. They're just above that. On that page.
that the proposed alteration, extension, or change will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing non-conforming structure. The board finds that the change of use to multifamily will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing use because the site can accommodate the required number of parking spaces for the use, and the new use can be accommodated solely by interior renovations of the structure. The board also finds that the proposed project represents an improvement to the property as compared to the current vacant storefront as it stands. And I agree with that completely. And I'll be excited to see it come back to life. It's exciting. Okay. Okay. So with that said, can I get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve this project as applied.
Okay. And a second? Okay, any further discussion amongst the board? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, no, you do get to vote.
You get to vote.
Yeah.
All right, you get to vote. All right.
Yay.
So everybody gets a vote.
I'm moving along here.
That's not, yeah.
No, we need every vote we can get. All right, so, this decision, will be written up, as most of it already has been written up, actually, quite nicely. So it's quite nice. And per Mass General Law, once the written decision has been approved, it'll be sent to the city council, or the town clerk. The town clerk will then, issue a decision, and you have 30 days?
20 days.
20 days from that point. And you have to get it stamped with the, Registry of Deeds in Northampton in order to make it official, after which point there is a, appeal period.
No, it's appeal period. I don't think the filing with the registry of deeds, I think is, unrelated to the appeal period. I think, well, sorry. We'll file it with the city clerk, and it's a 20-day appeal period. After that, you can file it with the registry of deeds and you can apply for a building permit. You also have the planning board, which is gonna have the same thing, so it's really 20 days after that decision. So, looking at early July for a building permit. Or actually late June. Depending on how quickly we get this. We filed it.
We'll hand deliver a few things and get this in for late June.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and obviously the special permit issued by the planning board is also part of the required, but that's required anyway. So.
Yep.
Okay.
I'd like to thank the board.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time
We
tonight.
look forward to, seeing the building come back to life.
Let's do it.
That's
Let's
good.
do it.
Good luck.
Let's do it.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you on a couple weeks.
So,
Thank you very much.
other business. We typically meet on the fourth Wednesday of each month. Our next meeting is set for Wednesday, June 28th. We have the submission deadline of June 7th, 2023 at noon. Do we have any applicants on the docket?
Nothing.
Do we have anything on the radar?
Nothing on the radar. Yeah. Could be a little bit.
Could be a little bit. Okay,
We're not.
one never knows.
One never knows.
All right.
A lot can happen before June
What can
7th.
happen? So, and then Eli, you shared with us that you are moving on.
I am. Yep, this will be my last meeting with you all.
I guess congratulations, but with sad tidings.
Yeah, I'll miss working at Easthampton, working with all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good run. I'm moving on to Dodson and Blinker. the planning and landscape architecture firm in Florence.
Nice.
You're doing some planning projects.
So we might see you back, but on the other side of the table.
Exactly, yeah. That's my goal. I would love to come back. Do a ZBA or planning board meeting.
There we go.
We'll make sure to sharpen the pencil.
Oh, we're gonna sharpen the pencil for sure.
Sounds like a conflict of interest.
It's true, actually, I don't know if there's like a statutory thing there.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Well, as long as as long as you're not doing both jobs, there's no conflict of interest, right?
Yeah.
It's-
There's probably a conflict.
I think there might be like a 2-year thing, or I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I'll cross that bridge when I get there.
All right.
If and when.
So, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And, we'll see who our next contestant is, or is Jamie gonna come back and be running the meetings?
It's a good question. I think Jeff might. I don't know.
Okay,
We'll see.
well, we'll find out at our next meeting.
Yeah.
All right,
So
so,
Matt was sending you emoji love. I caught that, so I wanted to.
Thank you, Matt.
there you go. Yeah, there it is. All right, so is there any other business? Okay, with that, can I get a motion for, termination?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. All right,
So,
that sounds great. Thank you so much. Have yourselves a pleasant evening.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.